We like to think Pennsylvania is a good place to start a business. Every election cycle, we hear incumbent office holders and candidates alike tell us what they're going to do to create jobs, to make Pennsylvania a place where those who are seeking employment find high-quality jobs with good compensation, and where those who invest their capital in hard work can grow firms that flourish and are profitable. Unfortunately, reality falls far short of rhetoric. CNBC ranks Pennsylvania's business climate 20th in all the states. CNBC's business-friendly ranking for Pennsylvania is 32nd. 31 of the 50 states are more business-friendly than Pennsylvania. These statistics confirm Pennsylvania Business Council's own competitive scorecard research. The economy is slowly recovering, and Pennsylvania can't be left behind. Jobs and investments will flow to the states with the best business climates. In the next few minutes, we'll learn about a few very significant actions lawmakers can take to truly make our Pennsylvania a state of opportunity.
Pennsylvania needs comprehensive legal reform. That means joint and several liability, such as the General Assembly is working on right now, but that's not enough. We have to take care of some other basic problems in our legal system.
The system we have has been out of balance for far too long, and it's resulted in the loss of jobs and accessibility to affordable health care.
Physicians don't want to come to Pennsylvania, or when they're finished their training, they immediately leave. They do it because there's a legal climate caused by these issues that has created that situation.
It makes it very difficult for us to do business here, and any expansion that we've had has been outside of Pennsylvania, moving south, quite frankly. I think Pennsylvania is probably the worst environment from a legal point of view.
It used to be people would file lawsuits as a last resort in a disagreement over a particular issue. Today, it seems that people like to use the court system as their first opportunity in a disagreement.
Right now we have a problem with venue shopping. People move court cases to Philadelphia because they expect a more permissive courtroom and higher jury awards.
The American Tort Reform Foundation just named Philadelphia the #1 judicial hellhole in the United States. That scares off employers.
We have to protect our manufacturers, giving them things like product liability reform, making sure that there's a statute of repose, essentially a statute of limitations on how long you can be sued after you invent a new product.
Our Pennsylvania Supreme Court has said we have a problem. Our law is no longer workable, but it is what it is. We don't have the right case, and maybe there should be a legislative solution.
We need to protect innocent sellers, people who've done no harm other than to sell a good to someone.
If you happen to be a good businessman, run a profitable business, all that means is you're a bigger target. And if you insure yourself, you just made yourself an enormous target, and you're on the hook for potentially the entire settlement. I know because I've been there.
It has an adverse impact on our ability to attract jobs, to retain jobs. It's had an adverse impact on consumer costs. This has to be put to an end.
There's still work to be done with the medical community so that a doctor or a hospital administrator can express empathy, remorse. We need to make sure that they're not sued for that expression of human sympathy.
Unfortunately, the legal climate today, without a, quote, apology legislation, makes it very difficult to do that because it's potentially the situation where that apology will then be brought up in court as a guilty situation.
There are all kinds of problems, but one where Pennsylvania is demonstrably worse than in the other states is when it comes to lawsuit abuse and our legal climate.
17 of our firm clients have more lawsuits pending against them in Pennsylvania than they have against them in all other states combined. Why is that? I think the answer is obvious.
Surveys have shown it. The costs that people incur here in Pennsylvania from a consumer perspective, from a healthcare perspective, all show Pennsylvania is not competitive on our legal system and in many ways not open for business.
And when you look at the competitive map of the United States and which states have adopted these benchmark reforms that Pennsylvania has not, you see those are the states with job growth, with overall economic growth, with population growth, with a rising standard of living.
We want a level playing field with the plaintiffs. We don't want them to do forum shopping, to bring cases into locales where they don't belong. We don't want joint liability to be imposed on defendants, so somebody who's 1% at fault pays 100% of the harm.
The notion that you could be 1% at fault in a lawsuit and be responsible for 100% of the damage award, that violates all that we know as Americans about fair play.
Legal reform is one of the most important steps we can take to be more prosperous in Pennsylvania. Everybody wins if we have legal reform that's fair and just for all Pennsylvanians.
If you reduce the fear of litigation, business owners in Pennsylvania are going to hire more people, they're going to put more money into their salaries of their workers, they're going to expand their plants, they're going to create more jobs.
Comprehensive legal reform is fair, it promotes job growth, and it's something that Pennsylvania needs to do to compete in the jobs race with other states.
Just level the playing field, and then we can encourage people to come into this state which is otherwise the best in the union.
Our employers, large and small, doctors, hospitals, insurers, the farmers, the not-for-profits, and also local government entities support legal reform because the taxpayers are on the hook too.
Senate Bill 2, House Bill 1, the Fair Share Act, would require individuals who are at fault in an accident to pay their fair share of the damages awarded. That just makes sense.
Addressing lawsuit abuse by adopting national type standards for Pennsylvania's court system, there's no other option. It's got to be done.
These laws have been in place elsewhere for a very long time, and they've been proven to work fairly for both plaintiffs and defendants.
A lot of politicians talk about creating jobs. This is a step in creating jobs. And surveys that we have conducted show us that people are more likely to support a lawmaker who's voted for comprehensive legal reform and more likely to vote against one who voted against fairness and justice for all Pennsylvanians.
And we deserve a brighter future than the one we currently face. So much of this is due to the stupidity that we inflict on ourselves in Harrisburg, and it is within our power to turn things around. That's why we have to do it now.
Lawmakers can stop frivolous lawsuits, reduce high medical costs, promote innovation, competition, and profitability, make our legal system fair and more predictable, create jobs, and truly make Pennsylvania open for business by adopting comprehensive legal reform. On April 11th, the Pennsylvania House took action to make Pennsylvania a state of opportunity, passing House Bill 1, the Fair Share Act, by an overwhelming majority of 112 to 88. The Pennsylvania Business Council and our colleagues throughout the business, healthcare, nonprofit, and local government communities say thank you to the 112 representatives who voted for this legislation. To the members of the Pennsylvania Senate, now it's your turn. We need your swift action to pass the Fair Share Act and send it to Governor Corbett for his signature.
The business community of Pennsylvania and the members of the Pennsylvania Business Council are calling on all members of the General Assembly to work with us to solve these problems and make Pennsylvania a place that creates jobs and welcomes prosperity.
Pennsylvania needs comprehensive legal reform.
We need comprehensive legal reform.
Comprehensive legal reform.
And we need it now.
We need comprehensive lawsuit abuse reform, and we need it now. It's up to you, Senators.
If you agree that it's time for the Senate to take action, help us help you. Send letters to Senate leaders Joe Scarnati and Dominic Pileggi, urging them to do everything in their power to see that Judiciary Chairman Stuart Greenleaf brings the Fair Share Act up for a vote. In the email that delivered this video to you is a link to the Pennsylvania Prosperity Project. Click the link. You'll be taken to a web page that will send a letter to Pennsylvania Senate leaders urging them to see that the Fair Share Act is brought up for a vote. Complete the form with your name and home address so the senators know these letters are from real Pennsylvania voters. Your company name and title will add weight to your letter, but are not required. Review our recommended letter. Make additions or changes if you like. The software will automatically add the address and your contact information. When you are satisfied with your letter, simply hit the Send button. The software will take care of the rest unless you prefer to print and mail a paper letter. Finally, please take one more minute to forward our email to your business friends, asking them to join you in this effort to make Pennsylvania a more prosperous and more job-friendly state. Thank you for your help.